Hey guys, some Gamer Dude here. So one of the more interesting parts of Chrono Clash system is that, like UFS, Vice Schwartz, and now Buddy Fight, the game utilizes many different intellectual properties. While each release may not be something new, the lead up to each announcement has a lot of speculation. A big part of the community's pastime is saying, I want X IP in Chrono Clash. So I thought I'd list the top 5 IP I'd love to see in Chrono Clash system. Things that I like and are plausible because Bandai has the master license or owns the property. I'm not going to mention Gundam here. I do like it and want it. I think it's more of a when than an if. So let's begin. Yeah, I thought everyone forgot that Bandai is also Bandai Namco until the prior survey, and this one was a glaring omission no one talked about. The Tales series may not be Final Fantasy tier, but it sure is popular. The series started in the 90s and has over 15 mainline games to its name. Symphonia is by far the most popular game, so expect Lloyd's gang if they do Tales. But there is a ton to mine here. Probably the most of any property Bandai has, bar Gundam and Digimon. I think Tales, given the context of being a JRPG, would be a fantastic opportunity for a quest-themed set. Ava has quest synergistic cards, but Tales would be a good place for an IP that focuses on quest as its primary victory condition. I quite like Tales of Xillia and enjoyed Vesperia over my break, so I'd like to see their casts make their way to Chrono Clash. It actually more surprises me that this hasn't turned up in surveys along with Dot Hack, another fairly popular Bandai Namco JRPG property. Tales may be more of a when, not an if, but I'd like to see it happen. I'm not sure how well Saint Seiya would do in the English-speaking world, but Saint Seiya is very popular basically everywhere else. For Latin America, Asia and Europe, this one would sell like gangbusters. For us English speakers, I think it'd help get Saint Seiya better known, which I think it deserves. It's a cool combat shonen with great character designs, an interesting concept with the armors, and the great theme. There are a ton of characters with different forms, a ton of series, and just a lot to mine for content. Admittedly, I'm not too familiar with the franchise myself outside of video games, but from what I've experienced, I like it, and Pegasus Fantasy is easily one of my favourite anime intros of all time. I think Saint Seiya would be a great opportunity to grow Chrono Clash outside of the English-speaking regions. As far as mechanics go, I think an evolution-type mechanic representing the increasingly more powerful cloths would be a good avenue to go down. Digimon is no stranger to card games, and is owned completely by Bandai, but has yet to even be put on a survey. Digimon has a ton of characters between the 6 animes, the games, and the original virtual pets. Literally thousands. It is also a very well known and beloved property, on par with what's currently out right now. The only thing that really hurts Digimon for me is that Digimon has a ton of flavour in Digivolution, as has been seen in games such as Hyper Colosseum and Card Game Alpha. This might be hard to replicate in Chrono Clash. That said, Digimon is also in Bandai's Battle Spirits game like Godzilla, and Digivolution was replicated there by an inversion of Transform. So Digimon could work quite well. I do question if they'd use the Battle Spirits art though. Battle Spirits has 3 sets and a starter deck worth of Digimon images, definitely enough for what Naruto has right now, 6 decks total. The Battle Spirits art is nice, but I'm especially fond of Bandai's actual Digimon art, and that'd give many more options. Digimon could just keep going. Sailor Moon could turn into a one and done box, but it's one I really want. I'm afraid to admit it, I genuinely like the franchise and have since its first aired, though that original dub is hard to sit through now. I remember the original Sailor Moon CCG, I actually collected it. It was an absolutely confusing mess of a game, and think that Sailor Moon could really use being in a good game. It's actually strange to me that a Sailor Moon TCG hasn't happened since the recent revival, given how marketable the franchise still is. It still has easily purchased merchandise. The thing is though, there really aren't many characters or alternate costumes, even delving into villains and movies. I think you'd run out of content fairly quickly. The only expansion I think is even possible is Crystal, but I want to see Sailor Moon happen. I'm not sure what mechanics could be done with it, but I'm sure the dev team would figure something out. The Guardians deserve good things. They're iconic. Jojo is probably one of the most popular current series, and one I've personally come to love too. 5 parts currently if they use the anime key art for imagery, 6th is probably on the way. Between stands and their users, the later parts have a ton of content to go through in terms of characters. I'm actually a little surprised they didn't go for Jojo before Evangelion, but I suppose the soulless Netflix redub of Evangelion has something to do with that. I would imagine that currently Jojo would be one of the best sellers on this list, along with Sailor Moon. I personally would just buy everything they release for Jojo, and I doubt I'd be alone. Coming to think of it, they could probably fill multiple decks with one series once they move on to stands. Jojo is also really impressive in terms of character designs, a lot like Saint Seiya, but in a different way. Where Saint Seiya is filled with armor and shiny, Jojo is extreme posing, color and clothing choices. I think that Jojo, all of them, would make for some very visually interesting cards. Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency would have mechanics to do with Hamon, while the meat of the Jojo sets have mechanics that deal with stands. I'd imagine it'd be some variation on Pilot from the Ava sets. So there you have it. I think there are other properties mentioned or owned by Bandai like One Piece, Tekken, Soul Calibur, Dragon Ball, Fullmetal Alchemist and Dot Hack that would be really cool, probably auto buys for me too, but these 5 are my big ones. I can't wait to see what's after Neon Genesis Evangelion for the Chrono Clash system. This has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.